Welcome to Melanated and Spiritually Woke. I'm your host, Adorable Earth Angel. I'm a holistic wellness educator of 12 years with a master's in public health, energy healing of 7 years, and have been a Black female spiritual alchemist my whole life. Each week, we'll be sharing uplifting, spiritually focused wellness practices to best support you in regaining your personal power, or we'll have special guest interviews with the same intention. This show is in service to all those listening, and especially for folks of color who are seeking information to support their physical, mental, and emotional spiritual awakening. These practices will help you live your best life. Thank you for joining us today. This is Melanated and Spiritually Woke, and today we're going to be connecting with this amazingness of the now. I am very excited to be speaking to you in this moment. Now is the time for me to be speaking, and I've been given an opportunity to share about health and wellness, and I kind of want to share about who I am in this now. I grew up in Pasadena, California, and I was born in the height of the crack epidemic as a Black little girl in Pasadena. And I was born of a mom, very young mom, born of a dad, very, very, very challenged life. And within that, I realized that I came forth from a place to create a lot of healing and wellness for myself and for my family. And in that now, I recognize just the opportunity in this moment to kind of give back to a new part of where we are as a people, where we are as a community. As a young person, what you might have felt when you were young was this kind of mystery, this kind of wow, this kind of wonder of life. And if you were me, you would also be in a place of kind of having like a very kind of spiritual, very, very unspeakable, unknowable, unseeable type of path. I was one of those kids that really was connected to kind of like a spiritual energy. And I was one of those kids that felt deeply and felt a connection to something big, but also was very troubled because when I came onto the scene and I looked around at the adults, I could totally see that what I could see and feel as a little one was not something that should be shared. And so there was a part of me that knew that it was important to be safe, to kind of tuck my spirituality away, to tuck this knowingness of light, tuck that deep down inside. And because of that, there was a part of me that felt kind of really fractured. And a huge part of why I'm doing this show and why we're speaking today about the now of today is that those fractures have been healed. That the fragments within myself of the little girl who wasn't able to kind of share who she really is and what she's really about, what she knows about healing, that those fractures are healed enough so that there's a possibility for change. As I was a little girl, there was just all these things around all of the crises and traumas and the drugs and the alcohol and being within this swirl of the Black community and being in this swirl of being taken advantage of. And now there's this process within me that's transitioning from a state of victimhood to a state of wellness, from a state of challenges and trauma to a state of mindfulness. And what does that mean? What is this spiritual Black evolution of coming from a place of feeling taken from, coming from a place of feeling disadvantaged? What is the now of empowerment? What is the now of where we are right now? Now, I know that my audience out there listening is coming from a lot of different places. And I invite you, wherever you are, to kind of consider where you've been, thinking about the family that you chose to incarnate into and the types of mysterious lessons that they've brought to you. It's a mystery, right? The people that you connect with, the people that you decided to connect with. And this is a controversial subject, this idea of incarnating and the idea that maybe we could choose our parents or that we could choose our sisters and brothers. But in this understanding of now, who were we before this moment? Who were we when we were younger? And how does it connect to these present times? Now, if you were to kind of sit with that for a moment, maybe there's some connections and discoveries that you could be sitting with. Could it be that the very thing that was your Achilles heel as a kid, the very thing that was so challenging, that was the very thing that you're actually here to do in this life? The very thing that felt like a challenge around you knowing as a kid, the purity of your heart, you knowing what adults needed, but not being able to articulate that as a kid, and where you are right now and what you're doing with your life. There is a thread there. And I mean, at least for me, there was a huge thread. I realized as a kid, I'm always out here trying to help people, trying to heal, trying to connect with an opportunity for people to feel better. I remember my grandmother, bless her heart, Peggy. My grandmother's name was Peggy, and Peggy I came into this world as she was dying, and when I saw her, it was love at first sight. And I knew I was going to be something special to her, and she was going to be something special to me. She was the first adult that let me heal her. She was the first adult where I got to practice being a healer and practice my path of creating a sense of ease from suffering. And I remember my grandma allowing me to she just allowed me to touch her heart. She allowed me to feed her and help her with her medicine. And she allowed me to also be in this special sanctuary of healing energy. She was a church-going woman. And so at a young age, I was in the Baptist church, and I would go every Sunday, and there would be this reverence and this connection. And I would look at the adults singing to God and singing to Jesus and feeling those connections. And I would look at them in wonder and awe and amazement. But then there was also a part of me that felt a little guilty and a little shameful, because there was a part of me that wanted something that was different than what I was seeing. And as a Black girl, that was dangerous. That was so dangerous. It's like, if you're not going to be in this church, and if you're not going to put on your stockings, if you're not going to be that good girl with the barrettes in your hair, then you're going to be excommunicated from this church. You're not going to behave, then this spiritual practice is going to put you in your place. And there was something that rubbed me as a kid, There was something that really rubbed me with this idea that we're in this place of healing and we're in this place of praising, and yet my physical appearance and my curiosities and just things about me as a kid and like what I was noticing as a Black girl, not seeing that in the Bible. And when I'd ask about it, it would be just repressed or shunned, or we'd watch these videos and it would be about white Jesus. And I just had all these questions, and it wasn't okay. And there was just rub. And it was like there was this fracturing within me. And my grandmother saw this in me, and she didn't really say anything. She was one of those adults that seen things, and she was just like, you know what? I love you. I love you so much, and I appreciate you. And it was in that little tiny glimmer, that little tiny speck, that I saw a way forward, an opportunity. When you're a young person, adults are this window into something that's possible. And what she did, and not commenting on me not behaving or being the Black girl with the really straight pressed hair on Sunday, on being that thing, that ideal thing that you needed to be in order to be accepted and loved by Jesus, by her giving me that window and that crack, that was enough to allow me to begin finding out what this was all about for me, what healing means to me. And so that's a huge part of what I know. I know that there are people out there listening who've had a similar experience, who definitely believe in something bigger than them. They believe in God, source, spirit. We can call it so many things. We believe in a power. We believe in our power, but there's so many ways that our power has been shown to us in these images. And I want to say that I love the energies of Jesus, and I love the energies of what his energy represents as a healer. He's an ascendant master, and I look up to Jesus a lot. And I also want to speak to this group of people, this group of melanated people of color who are unsure of how to proceed in these times, where they're wanting to connect with this energy of spirit, and they're not wanting to feel ostracized or that they're just a taboo, a walking taboo, that they're wanting to feel like they have a seat at the table, that they can be connected with this energy of light, and that they can be seen and represented. And that's why I'm doing this show. I'm doing this show because at the fabric of my being, that little glimmer of light that my grandmother opened was voracious and hungry to be seen, and hungry to be connected with, and hungry to be understood. And that there's something deep within each and every one of us that have found our way in these times of now. That this now that we're living into, that we are listening to every single second of this moment, that this now is a continuation from who we were then. And so this is the time of spiritual awakening. This is the time of opening your eyes to the possibility of what that little rumble was when you decided to come through that portal and be on this planet. This is the time to think about the now of what are you spending your time doing? What are you spending your time being? Because in these times, all we have is the truth of what we're here to do. All we have is the truth of who we're here to really be, what we're here to really know. And so through this show, I want to know you. I want to know what you're really about here. And as you lean in with your listening ears, together we unpack what this is all about. What is this all about as a melanated person? What is this all about in the process of healing? They say that you can't dismantle the master's house with his tools. I'm paraphrasing. There has to be tools that are connected to what we have been through and what we have come through in order for us to be liberated. And within that liberation, there's an opportunity for us to get back to that essence of that childlike wonder. I know for me, growing up in Pasadena, watching all around me, all of these different things, going to LA where my dad lived, watching all of those things, understanding nothing, understanding not much, seeing parts of blackness that felt really flat and really superficial, and didn't give an expression of something that's needed, something that's hungry, something that wasn't safe, right? There definitely wasn't a safety around being in a space of being so open. And that's the thing that spirituality brings us into in the now. There's so many people around us who are suffering because of that energy of suppression of who they really are, suppression of the loving energies that are within us all. And what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like? Is it okay to express that in these times? And how I've come to reconcile that is in these times, I've done what some people would say is very interesting. I would say that I've come out of the spiritual closet. I've come out of this place of hiding from the fact that I feel energy. I literally can feel my ancestors. And that's a gift. That's not a curse. That's not a taboo. That is powerful. And if I can feel that, I know that there are people that look like me that feel that. And I know that power from whatever you came forth when you were a young person that power that you had to turn off in order to be safe. I know that in the time of now, in the time of who we are right now, that those powers are coming more and more vibrant. And this show is a reflection of that. This show is only happening because you have asked the question of where is this show? Where is a place where we can talk about these subjects of spirituality and connection to who we really are on a deeper level? You have asked for this, and here it is. This is the space where we are creating and understanding and unpacking and awakening that. And so, the now. I've spoken about the then. And the now is that we're in these times of needing to unmask our superpowers. And these times of needing to recognize that even though there's opportunities to be a villain, and that being a villain has been glamorized by culture, we actually really need to awaken into our inner hero. And a lot of us out there are on our hero's journey. And in these times, the hero's journey can be very, very bleak, because there can be parts of you that are kind of confused about why the progress hasn't been there. You know, like, where is the progress? I'm doing the right thing. I'm saying the right thing. I'm being a good person. Where is my progress? Where is me kind of reaching into the full heights of living my best life? And within that, in the now, even though we're in the now, a lot of Zen teachers and practitioners say the now is all there is. The now is where your power is. Yes, and as a melanated person, the then. The things that happened that were never fully healed or cleared are still with us now. How do we regain our power? How do we fully integrate all of the pieces that want to be integrated? Well, the lineage that I come through as an energy healer, what I've learned is that comes when we embrace the fact that we're more than just physical beings. We have a physical body within this lineage of thought as a healer. We have a mental body, we have an emotional body, and we have a spiritual body. We have 4 different components of us that are interacting. And so within this framework of understanding, having all these different components of who we are operating at once is what it really means to have a full-blown human experience. You know, so if I go back to the then, right, I end up on the scene, I'm a child. I don't have control over my physical body. I don't have control over my spiritual beliefs. As a Black child, I'm told emotionally to be quiet and not have emotions. As a Black child, my mind is definitely kind of being infiltrated by the society. I'm looking at white images. I'm growing up kind of connecting to whiteness as an understanding of a locus of understanding of who I am and how to navigate my life. From a very young age, those 4 main components of what it means to be a human is oriented towards something that is not of my highest good. And so what it means to heal is to come to a place where you're able to powerfully claim all those 4 aspects of who you are. You're claiming your physical body with wellness, with eating right, with sleeping, with drinking water. You're claiming your mental health by taking breaks and giving yourself space to not process information and meditation. You're giving yourself emotional wellness by having the opportunity to connect with people and things that make you emotionally feel stable, that make you emotionally feel free. You're giving yourself this understanding that, of course, there's something bigger than you up there. Of course, there's something bigger than you. Your spiritual wellness, the sense of purpose, the sense of drive, the sense of expression. This is what makes up you as a holistic being. And so in this perspective, more than just in the physical aspect of being a Black person, so many parts of us need to be reintegrated besides just our bodies. There's so much more to that. So if we think about the then and we think about the now, We're thinking about how do I close the gap? How do I close the gap between what was then and what was now? Is it too late? Am I too old? And the answer is, it's never too late. You're not too old. You're never too old to live your fullest dream. And what's so important is that we don't die without singing our song. So important that in this now, you're hearing this information and it's not a coincidence. This message is for you. I am talking to you. This is your life, and you have the opportunity to claim the fullness of who you are. You only get one chance to be you in this particular configuration. So why not completely claim the now? Completely claim your physical body. Completely claim your mental health and your spiritual wellness and your emotions. And as you think about this, if you maybe go down the checklist, right? You're like, okay, she said my physical body, cool, I'm good on that. All right, she said emotions, okay, good. She said mental health. Yeah, I said mental health. I know oftentimes we think that mental health is something that we can't talk about in a way that feels safe and good. But our mental health as a melanated people is something that has been tested, and is something of which we need to create an opportunity and spaciousness around healthily addressing so that we can be fully integrated. Because we're valuable and we're worth it, and we're worth having everything that we desire, everything that we're here to manifest. And so within that, in this now, it's still being written. The then is then. And there's so much healing that we're going to be talking about on this show. We're going to be talking about practical and tangible things that we can do to integrate ourselves, to integrate our mental, our physical, our emotional and spiritual well-being. This is a space for all those folks who don't feel like they're welcomed in other places. I see you. And I recognize that this space has been needed a while ago. A space for all of us to gather who don't quite fit in all those other spaces with what we believe. And in this space, we're going to be talking about frequency. We're going to talk about vibration. We're going to be speaking with those languages, those new age lingos. That's welcomed here. And that's what this space is for, because this is the time to heal. The time to heal is now. And I appreciate you for listening. I appreciate you for leaning in. I feel your presence and I feel your energy, and I feel this opportunity for us together to find some solutions to things that have been needed to been healed in these times. You've been listening to Melanated and Spiritually Woke. I'm your host, Adorable Earth Angel. If you missed any part of this, you're more than welcome to go check out the archives and check out any other shows. We have some amazing programming that I'm pretty sure will delight you to no end. Until next time, be well, be safe, and be free.